So I don't know if y'all seen this clip. A bestie sent us a clip from Jesse Waters, and he's talking about how when men sit in front of computers, studies have shown and I guess proven that they turn into women. Did y'all know that?
Their junk falls off that computer.
Where does it go?
Like a lizard that sheds its...
Like a hermaphrodite? Is that?
Who is that?
He's like a TV host.
Yeah, he's a news anchor.
Oh, air quotes, news. Okay.
And so he proceeds to then explain about, manly man that like build robots and stuff, because there's so many of those. Those keep their penis. But this man is saying this while he's in soft glam, too, keep in mind. He has literal makeup on his face.
He's wearing concealer.
Wait, okay, right. I was about to say, so he's saying like if you're in like what manufacturing or like working with your hands, you're more, but
you get to keep your dick.
He, like us, is talking into a microphone, right?
So can we then do away with all men with microphones? Because that would actually be ideal. I think a lot of people would appreciate that.
Wait, I'm so confused. So what? So he's saying blue collar guys basically are men. White collar guys
get to keep their
aren't,
penis.
Which he is.
Yeah, they lose it. Studies have proven this, apparently.
I need to read those studies.
I'd love to see those studies.
Well, no surprise. I read job descriptions. I would read any study pretty much. But it harkens me back to, I remember at Zachary Taylor Elementary School, when we would get the like Reader Rick or whatever that is, like, the little newspaper you'd get once a month, like or highlights for kids, maybe something like that. And I remember reading these stories and it always would say, experts say, and I swear to God that once a teacher said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And nerd me said, I want to be an expert.
Oh, I want to say stuff.
I want to be smart.
I have a lot of tips on parenting to not be dating in high school when that's the type of things that you say. But I remember seeing that experts, and I feel like it's the same thing with like studies say, who's in this study?
Mm-hmm.
What studies?
They wish too.
Was this a Harvard Business Review
They
study?
wish they could turn into women just sitting in front of a television or a computer screen or whatever the hell it was.
I'm going to go research me. I'm going to have to go deep and look up these studies and find this study. And I'm going to read the hell of it. I'll link it in our Instagram story at HR Besties Pod.
Text it. I'd love to know what that means. And it's not an insult, but of course he framed it that way, I'm sure. I have to view that.
Yeah, it sure sounds like an insult. Like what's wrong with being a woman?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll find that. We'll find that clip and pop it on there. Also, right, like I know the number of women that do work with their hands, and they are badass, but they are not badass men. They are badass women.
Yeah.
Do they grow peni?
I don't know. Not that I'm aware.
Oh, so then what happened?
I don't know. The logic just doesn't logic for me,
I need him to get called out for that. But that is such an out of touch thing to say.
It's delusional.
Right. That's such an out of touch thing. But to make a pronouncement like that and not to realize if that is an insult, you're talking about yourself. So
that is such an audacity of a man.
Yeah, maybe he's coming out as a woman.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was doing. He's coming out as a woman.
Oh, congrats then.
Which kudos to him. Maybe that's what was happening. Yeah, congrats to him. I'm happy. Wow. He's in the club here, so that's good.
I'm no tech genius, but I knew if I wanted my business to crush it, I needed a website now. Thankfully, Bluehost made it easy. I customized, optimized, and monetized everything exactly how I wanted with AI. In minutes, my site was up. I couldn't believe it. The search engine tools even helped me get more site visitors. Whatever your passion project is, you can set it up with Bluehost. With their 30-day money-back guarantee, what have you got to lose? Head to Bluehost.com to start now.
Meat sticks. Meat sticks. Yes, this is my best Leigh impression. But I wanted to get your attention to talk about my obsession that is Paleo Valley's meat sticks. I could literally make this just 1 minute of me saying, I love these meat sticks. But for the, say more among you, Paleo Valley offers snack products that are 100% natural, whole food supplements with loyal customers, including me and these meat sticks. They have 100% grass-fed beef and also pasture-raised pork. And they have multiple flavors, but I am personally a huge fan of the jalapeno beef stick. Like, I'll think about it, and then I actually make myself get up from working to go get one, and then I feel good about myself after eating one. We keep them in my house, so I eat them, my kids eat them, and they're not even spicy people, and they love it, which means that I've literally hidden the last one before. If you haven't tried these meat sticks, head to paleovalley.com/HRBesties for 15% off your order. That's PALEO valley.com/HRBesties for 15% off.
Speaking of, hello, besties. Hot goss there. Hot goss from Jamie. Oh, my goodness. On this episode today, we're doing some hot topics, right? Having a little happy hour flair. But before we get started, let's just quick run through of the agenda. Ashley is going to bring the cringe corporate speak. Then we're going to talk some of those hot topics. And then, of course, we're going to end with some questions and comments. So if you miss our happy hour shows, it's very reminiscent of those where we're just going to, BS here. Business and BS. That is what this show is about. Ashley, take it away with that cringe speak.
Today's cringe speak is ecosystem. And using that in the work context, Leigh, have you heard ecosystem used at work?
Absolutely.
Did you work in a petri dish?
I know, exactly. A biome, I don't know, like
A biodome, like that movie.
right? That was a good one. I have heard it, and it is cringe. Like, why can't you just say this place, this org, this ecosystem? What the heck? Oh my gosh. It's bizarre. Like we're scientists and shit.
Right. Jamie, have you heard this?
I mean, would we have a dick if we are scientists?
No, we wouldn't.
That's a question for Jessie. Yeah, I actually surprisingly have not used ecosystem. So I'm proud of myself. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for that.
I don't think I have either.
No, I definitely haven't.
Good. You're usually not guilty of it, Leigh. It's usually
I'm pretty direct.
I think Jamie, then me, then Leigh, then Leigh at the very bottom. Only in your LinkedIn profile when you called yourself a servant leader.
A servant thought leader is what it says now, and it says if you know, you know.
It's true, but no, I've never used that. Even if I worked in a scientific environment, which I wouldn't, I'd get fired. But no, it's just talk like real people. That's the point of all this corporate speak. It's just use real words.
I bet there's people confused listening to this. Like, what context is that used in? And it's like, oh, here in this environment. Oh, in our ecosystem here, we are doing X, Y, Z. What the heck, right? I mean, you mean in our organization, in this department? Like, what the hell?
I was just thinking, if I started at a job and I'm in onboarding and someone says that on my first day, I think I would have the thought in my head that would say immediately, this is not going to be the place.
Run.
Yeah, that's not going to be the place for me.
Red flag.
Don't change that LinkedIn profile just yet. Just hold tight a little bit. So yeah.
Probably means there's a lot of facade and BS headed your way, like red flag.
Right. And whoever's saying that, their manager says that and so on and so forth. So
They heard it from the CEO. Oh, shit. That's a good one. I mean, because that is so cringy, I'd like to encourage everyone to try and use it today at some point in your office and just like watch the faces. They may have like a visceral reaction, like, what the fuck?
And if you need an idea to say it, just go to ChatGPT and say, how can I talk about the ecosystem in my quick service restaurant or on the factory line, all those things. And I'm sure it'll give you something, and just say it as is.
Oh, I love that. So shall we pivot into hot topics here?
Let's go.
What is going on? What is going on? What is hot in the business world?
Well, we have some updates on some prior things, but I will say the hottest tea in HR world that has blended into the real world, so it's really hot, is the legal drama between Deel and Rippling. Have you all been following this?
I have. This has been actually insanely intriguing.
Yeah. Well, if you'll recall before you dive in, because I know you have all the deets, Ashley, I was at a conference the day that news came out, and the Rippling area was right across from the Deel area. And it was like, it was intense. Yeah, it was like, oh, okay, like this is, little uncomfortable. It was uncozy.
You could cut the tension with a knife.
So everyone was talking about it.
I saw your picture. Maureen Wiley Clough, she took a picture of it. It was tense. And so I'll keep it at a high level. I promise you, very few people have dug into these details like me and the many, many lawyers that have been hired by either side. But I heard about this from my husband, who was like, hey, did you see this HR news? And again, that has to be really high level. But basically, Deel and Rippling are both like HR companies. Actually, Deel used to be a customer of Rippling's, fun fact, until they started to get competitive. And Rippling's like salesperson wrote this like goodbye email to them. I have to tell you, like I don't think that was written in anticipation of litigation. That was a couple years ago. But whoever scripted it out, it's very lovely. I have a screenshot in this post I'd done on it. Like it was very like, hey, good on you for doing well, but like we're getting a little too cozy, so we're going to have to part ways. But it was very nice. It's one of the few screenshots at work that you'd be proud of years later. But basically, all came out because Rippling filed a lawsuit against Deel that was for like RICO, and this is in the U.S. Like RICO is like something corruption. That's the only the letter I know. Thankfully, I know in RICO. But basically, they're saying, hey, Deel, you had one of our employees and you turned them into a spy to get data on your behalf. Now, I went and read like the whole lawsuit. You do not have to do that. Like this literally was filed just in early March. I thought it was wild because Rippling had 6 lawyers representing it to start with. That's kind of a lot. Deel responded and had 12 lawyers representing them. This is like very unusual. But even since I just looked and just last week or so, they fired their first law firm, or that law firm had a conflict. It did not say, but that law firm's not representing them. They already have a new one, and it's like one of the top law firms in the world, Deel. So the tea's hot, But basically how this all happened is there was like a Rippling payroll employee who's like moseying around and was working normal job in Rippling in Ireland. And he'd applied for a job at Deel. He didn't get the job, but he'd reached out to the CEO of Deel on LinkedIn asking for feedback. And this is the time I will give Deel a little good kudos that the CEO was like, yeah, you know what? You didn't do such a great job on your presentation. So kudos for giving specific feedback. Deel's CEO is very active on LinkedIn, which I know because he's messaged me previously to tell me he likes my stuff, and so
he might not now.
I unfriended him. I was like, no, thank you. Like in the past, I'd said like, oh, love what you guys are doing, which was true. But anyway, then they started messaging, and this guy's like, oh, I'm thinking about starting another company. At some point, allegedly, we will say allegedly because it's probably not, that the CEO of Deel allegedly was like, well, not so fast. Instead, why don't you stay at Rippling? Don't leave your job and start this consulting firm full time. Stay there and be our spy. And use James Bond references.
Wow.
And so he had this whole plot. He looped in their CFO of Deel, who's also their general counsel and chairman. He's also the CEO's dad.
Oh
my God.
The CEO of Deel.
Wait, what?
His dad is GC CFO chairman, like keeping it all.
His dad is GC board.
Oh.
Anyway, so allegedly they had this whole like technical, like encrypted messages and things like that. Then he starts getting paid. He said that the CEO had asked for, I can't remember the exact language, if it's like, information on how Rippling does things or something like similar to that. So it was not specific, like, give me proprietary customer data. And so I guarantee you if that's what Deel's lawyers are likely going to be hanging on to really well. But anyways, this guy starts getting this information, even though he just works in the payroll department. He's getting customer data. He's searching for all this stuff. Deel's CEO was sending him allegedly search terms, like send me the rock star employees, all of this at Rippling, like to get all this information from Rippling, starts paying him. First pays him to an account that the Rippling, this spy, traces back, and he's like, who's this person? The name on the account is the COO's wife, of Deel's COO's wife. So it really is like a Netflix movie. They start going encrypted.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I'll get to the point of how Rippling figured this out. And so like they start apparently suspecting some things, unusual activity. They then think that there's a spy. And so Rippling, this is where Rippling, I'd love to get behind the scenes of this. They were like, okay, let's figure this out. So their GC of Rippling sent a letter to 3 people, the father-son, CEO, CFO, chairman, and then a lawyer for Deel. And it said like, hey, just want you to know, at Rippling, we found this Slack channel called #DDefectors. That's like former Deel employees now at Rippling talking about like bad things that Deel does and whatever, flagging this. And they sent this over. So the Rippling spy, just within minutes of these, gets from the CEOs, like, look up at #DDefectors. And then just a few minutes later, the CEO writes him and says, no, wait, I think it's a trap.
But he had already looked.
Because in part, the spy later in a sworn affidavit that's already made its way in court, and this like never happens hardly in like legal cases, he already gave Rippling a whole sworn statement admitting to everything. And he had said that Deel's CEO would be on him. And like, if he didn't respond, he'd be like, following up with him. So when you put people like that to immediately respond, then when you ask them to do something, they do it quickly. So in the meantime, he was like, oh, sorry, like I already looked. And Deel's CEO was like, oh shit,
we're fucked.
And so Rippling could see in their forensics that someone had gone in and searched these things. So like, obviously word got out from one of the 3 recipients. And so like they filed legal grounds. It's in Ireland, so it's a little funky, but basically like a lawyer or solicitor equivalent showed up at Rippling. And that's how this guy found out to like serve papers and was like, give me your phone. The spy still was like, ran to the bathroom, locked himself in.
This is the funniest part.
Pretended to flush his cell phone down the toilet. But so in the meantime, this case was filed in the US, and this Rippling spy writes in this affidavit, like at first, like the Deel people, like, and he alleges like Deel's lawyers were telling him what to do. They were reaching out to his wife. They were like telling him like, whatever, not to say anything. And one Deel lawyer's like, I don't need to know what you've done. But then all of a sudden they were like dropping him from some of these message things. And he started to get the feeling like maybe they don't actually have my back, and that a friend had texted him, the truth will set you free. And so he got his own lawyer, and he reached out to Rippling and this independent solicitor, and he met with them and did this sworn statement. And so basically this like drama between these 2 HR companies now are these allegations that like top level leadership planted a spy. And so I've had people ask, they're like, is that illegal? I'm like, I mean, again, without being, I'm not involved. Like, yes, like if the allegations, if proven true, stealing that confidential information under fraud and all those things. And I don't know what happened with the original law firm that was representing Deel and whatever. If I were one of those lawyers put on that case, I'd be so pissed. I think that's the point where I would be like, absolutely not. Like once I got that sworn statement from...
You're like, we're screwed.
Yeah, right. I don't like to work from a point of weakness. And
lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, we'll re-put on there some of our summaries. And I mean, honestly, though, the one thing to read is this is sworn statement. It really just is a peek into hopefully what doesn't happen too often. But it has been wild. Do you ever wish that you had an HR legal bestie in your pocket? 650 is just that. Your trusted, always available ally for your employment law questions, minus the hefty price tag of a lawyer. Compliance may not be your favorite chore in HR, but it's important and it's hard. But 650 is here to make it easy. With 650, managing multi-state HR compliance is a breeze. Their tools help you to understand complex state laws and craft compliant documents effortlessly, but also keep everything up to date automatically. They have a comprehensive what's the law in this state library to a 50-state employee handbook builder. 650 turns compliance into convenience. So, HR pros juggling multi-state teams, simplify your compliance today. Visit 650.com/besties. That's SIXFIFTY.com/besties and discover how to stay ahead with 650's seamless solutions.
These days, it feels like the world and our lives are moving at hyperspeed. If you remember, recently I brought up the idea of a shed, like a place I want to just have some quiet. Well, the all-new Nissan Murano can be that, an unapologetic refuge amongst the daily hustle and bustle, a place where you can catch your breath and re-energize. If you haven't checked out the all-new Nissan Murano, let's change that. It has a bold new exterior look and an elevated modern interior design. If you're wondering, what kind of features can I get? How about massaging leather-appointed seats to melt away tension on a busy day? Or this expansive panoramic moonroof with a ton of natural light? A Bose premium sound system to get into your music? Or ambient mood lighting? There are 64 color options that you can set the vibe just right. Now, Nissan makes owning a car exciting and amazing. It knows the power of movement and the thrill of being in the driver's seat. I've been a Nissan driver. I'm a big fan, and my mother-in-law has had a Murano. I loved riding in it. I'm like, oh, what is this? So to check out the all-new Nissan Murano, visit your local Nissan dealer or visit nissanusa.com.
Panoramic moonroof, ambient lighting, Bose premium sound system, massaging leather appointed seats are optional features.
Oh my God, corporate espionage.
Yeah, I really hope that Netflix comes out in like a
Yeah.
couple years with this. I'll watch the shit out of it.
It's a movie.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we should screenplay it.
Yeah, ooh.
I would love to write it. I mean, that's crazy shit.
I'll be the Nepo baby.
Well, it's crazy. It's crazy. Every aspect of it is crazy. And like there were allegations of like when it came time for them to pay him, he would send like a picture of a watch, and that he'd get a message back of like, send the watch to London when the payment should be made. Like all for competing HR software. So, if you ever need to know your value at work and you're in HR, just know it is so valuable that people are potentially willing to do really crazy things.
Oh my God. Was he paid well?
It said it was like 6,000, and I had to look this up. I think it was like 5,000 or 6,000 euros, which then I had to look at the exchange rate. Like,
That's it?
I mean, yeah, like
I was hoping like million or million.
Well, I thought at least tens of thousands.
I won't spoil White Lotus, but I just will say, like, he could have used some negotiation from some characters in White Lotus. That's it.
Oh my God. These things are really happening, people. Like, this is the workplace.
I mean, in the age of cell phones, like he has screen recordings that he'd sent that he was told to delete, which he did, but they still got uploaded to the cloud. So it's like things in the cloud. And so there's screenshots of things. And so this is what's so hard to read and be like, ugh.
All discoverable and going to be laid bare. And what's going to happen to Deel? Bye-bye.
I don't know. Like Deel's leadership, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I will be watching.
It's a family affair.
So I will get my Pacer bills continue to increase, which is the federal court docket that I go to and download things at 10 cents a page.
Speaking of,
Yes. The SHRM trial, as we've talked about, so SHRM race discrimination trial. The trial got moved from July to November. So Leigh, we've already adjusted our hotel reservation to be there in November. So it'll be chillier. That's fine. It's pretty in Colorado at that time. And
you're downloading SHRM stuff, I'm sure.
I've checked the docket and I saw SHRM had gotten sued again, but it was for not paying a consultant who they had hired a communications company and were paying $241,000 for like a 4 month work period, all about this announcement of acquiring this like company called CEO Action for Diversity Inclusion. When SHRM acquired it, they changed it to CEO Action for Inclusion and Diversity. So they switched to the I and D, but they stopped and have refused to pay this communications company. And again, I will say, choices of the people's choices. I don't understand how possibly they did not negotiate that before that communications company did not get paid and decided to go to federal court. So that was shocking to me, especially given all the press that SHRM's gotten about this trial.
I can't wait. I can't wait to sit in that courtroom.
Well, ladies, I actually have some news. And you two know because we are in real life besties. But our besties don't know that I was actually laid off. And laid off, fired, elimination of position, whatever bullshit they want to call it, or me for that matter. But with that being said, I can now go with you guys.
Silver lining.
Yes.
Jamie, we will have a triple bunk bed right there.
Ooh, cuddles, matching pajamas.
Again?
Yes, we need to get longer because last time was in San Antonio.
We'll do like fleece. Yeah, we'll do like fleece pajamas. Yeah.
We need ones with like a grizzly bear on it.
Ooh, onesies.
Yes.
With the butt flaps that open.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that happened to you, Jamie, because it was a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it was a bunch of bullshit. Don't worry, more stories to come, y'all.
I know, but it's good though.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's a new beginning, and I've been there, and it's scary at first, and then it becomes like the greatest thing to ever happen to you, you know?
Exactly. I'm terrified, but I know I'm going to be okay, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It sure does. And you will be. You've built so much, off to the side outside of the workplace. And now you get to focus on that. And that'll be so great.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We're proud of you, Jamie, and your new chapter. And you'll be
able to tell people. This isn't one of those LinkedIn things that's like, more to come in my next post on what I'm doing. First, my goodbye post, then part 2. Jamie's, she's figuring it out.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I don't have another job. I don't plan on it right away anyway. I'd like to try to do this, whatever this is, full time. And I don't mean this, like, I don't mean the podcast, but I mean like the social media stuff full time. So hopefully I'm successful and I don't have to go back to the dreaded, just kidding.
To corporate. Well, you need time to heal too. Yeah. As a small business owner, you don't have the luxury of clocking out early. Your business is on your mind 24/7. So when you're hiring, you need a partner that grinds just as hard as you do. That hiring partner is LinkedIn Jobs. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, and get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. I've been using LinkedIn for years, and it is so easy to find that top qualified candidate for your position. Here's how it works. All you have to do is post your job, get qualified candidates, share with your network. There you have it. You can even add a hashtag hiring frame to your profile picture and get 2 times more qualified candidates. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/HRBesties. That's linkedin.com/HRBesties to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're a pet parent like me, you know about Chewy. And when they say they have everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy, they're not messing around. To keep them happy, Chewy has over 100,000 products from all the brands my pet loves at prices I love. Foods, treat, beds, you name it, they have it, and it gets shipped directly to my door in 1 to 2 days. And it's not just for dogs and cats, it's birds, fish, reptiles, and more. To keep them healthy, Chewy offers pet prescriptions, pet insurance, telehealth vet visits, and they're even rolling out vet clinics across the country. Thanks to Chewy's auto ship feature, I'm never getting that "I'm so disappointed in you" look from my pets. I've even been able to set up reoccurring shipments for all the essentials, so I'm never running out and I can change or cancel an auto ship order at any time. It's super convenient and it's one less thing I have to worry about. Speaking of not worrying, Chewy has top tier 24/7 customer service. I can get expert advice over the phone or chat day or night. Plus, if my pet or I don't love something, Chewy's 100% satisfaction guarantee and lets me return it within a year. No questions asked. Matter of fact, just last week, I thought, I need flea and tick medication because it's starting to warm up here in Tennessee. And I don't know about you, but my dogs basically live outside with me and my boys during the summer and spring months. So I got it and it was here within 48 hours and I applied it and we're good to roll. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. And right now you can get $20 off your first order and free shipping by going to chewy.com/HRBesties. That's chewy.com/HRBesties to save $20 off your first order with free shipping. Chewy.com/HRBesties. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. See site for complete details.
So, any questions or comments? Does anyone have a question or comment?
I have a quick update for our besties.
Ooh.
So, during our 2-week hiatus, we had a little fun with some corporate cringe speak and had kind of like a bracket challenge. And we have a winner. And honestly, I'm surprised by the winner. Drum roll, please. Ashley sounds like a powerful vibrator. It's Circle Back.
Oh,
The classic one.
The classic. Yeah, it's classic. It's timeless.
Lots of traditionalists out there. Mm-hmm.
that was, you know what? That was our very first corporate speak in episode 1.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's full circle in our ecosystem.
I will say I am a little disappointed in us because we started this podcast. When this comes out, it's almost exactly a year and a half ago.
Year and a half, yeah.
Like if we were a toddler, we would be like our 18-month anniversary. But But we talked about making like rhombus back.
Oh, shade.
And I have yet to hear that in a corporate meeting. So in addition to talking about ecosystems, really make yourself sound absurd by also saying rhombus back in your meetings today. And say it to a trusted friend, because we don't want your employment to be jeopardy, our besties, but
Parallelogram it. Is that one? Mm-hmm. What's that one called?
What's the big parallel? Trapezoid? So I think a parallelogram is like a rectangle or any of those shapes that like two sides are parallel and the other two sides are parallel. So it's a four-sided object where two sides are each parallel. What do you think?
I really love an octagon personally. Octagonic back. It's a circle too. Just got some.
But it has checkpoints.
Yeah.
See, you got to check in with people. You got to get advocates.
I think 10 is decagon. I've nothing past there. Did I ever tell you? I don't know if I've said this on the podcast. This will be my comment. I once knew someone, and this person I caught talking smack about me because I heard her in a colleague's office, and I was not happy. And this person was not in a legal job, but they had been a lawyer in their previous life, and they like to remind everybody that they'd been a lawyer in their previous life. And I don't know I couldn't have told you what law school or things like that they went to, but what I know that they did not learn in law school or any other school was Roman numerals, because they once gave me a performance plan type thing, and it had Roman numerals. First of all, it was about 3 pages of the employees' deficiencies. So we had a long conversation about what a performance plan really looks like and how absurd this would be if presented to an employee or down the road a jury. But it was like they did Roman numerals, and they wrote like VIII, and then they wrote VIII, 4 I's, and then wrote VII, 5 I's, and they wrote not sure what comes next.
Google is free.
And when I think about that person talking, I think about that. And I also think about the fact that, they didn't know. They didn't know. And that's okay, because everyone has to learn at some point. But pettiness in my heart, I still think about that.
Yeah, I would too.
Not sure what comes next.
That's going to keep me up at night. So after what should have been X, did they say what... I don't know what comes next again?
No, just then
11?
bullet points, and then it was kind of run on, just a lot of stream of consciousness thoughts.
1, 2, or I don't know, bullet points.
Why
or
not
Google.
Just use your language? Just use English numbers.
Google.
Not a question, but a quick comment that's reminded me of. I've been thinking a lot about previous group projects that I've been in.
Yes.
Because I'm filming stuff, and I'm just so I've just been reflecting. And I remember in graduate school, I was in a group project, and there was a team member that really shouldn't have been in graduate school. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to be nice here. I don't want to sound like, oh, I'm so frickin' smart, but smarter than him. How about that? And his job on the team was to take something long, like a long article, and do a summary document. So take the 5-page case study and do a summary of 1 page on it, right? Bullet, bullet, bullet. Here's what this bullshit's about. That's all you had to do. This guy returned a 10-page summary document. The summary document was longer than the case study itself. And he went into triple alphabet. So he used alphabet A as a bullet point, B, C, and then it was A, B, B. I opened that bullshit up, turned it to page 8 or something, freaking on SSS. I was like, how the fuck is this a summary document? How is this a summary document? Because, sometimes I get real direct, right? I mean, because I'm just I'm in shock. And I'll never forget, he yelled at me and he said, "I'm sorry, I'm not as smart as you, Leigh." I go, well, what the fuck? No one has to be smarter than me to know that a summary document's got to be shorter than the fucking original document you're summarizing. Triple alphabet, really? I mean, I was taken aback. Damn it, man. Oh, man. Well, that really reminded me of that, Ashley. Triple alphabet still keeps me up at night.
When you opened and saw the pages, were you just absolutely eyes, the eyes large emoji? What is this?
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was in the computer lab because back in the day we had computer labs.
Oh, yeah.
FYI, youngins. We had a place where we had to go use the computer box and the printer and stuff. But I was like, the fuck is this? Why? This is like an 8-9 page document summarizing a 5-page case study.
It's like we needed the Cliff Notes version.
How?
That's what we
What
need.
the fuck? Oh, anyways, you can tell that still, man, that creeps into my mind sometimes, keeps me up at night.
It will. And I still not sure what comes next.
It's so funny.
Not you again.
Oh, man, that is so funny. That is funny, man.
That is funny.
My last comment I will add, and this is related to Jamie. I mean, you all probably can tell. We get comments on this, and I like it. People are like, oh, are you all really friends?
Yes, we are really friends.
But you do read about like it's drama with like TV shows or things like that, and like what's going on behind the scenes, and it's a little tense.
Alf.
Yeah. Wait, what? Alf?
Oh, the Alf only went like 3-4 seasons because all the stars got jealous of Alf getting the best lines, and like they just weren't friends.
He was a fucking puppet.
But they weren't friends with the puppet?
There was a little person in there.
Oh, there was?
There was a small guy in Alf.
I didn't know that. I thought he was just a puppet.
There was a little person.
Was that his voice?
Inside? No, and then someone voiced it. There was a voice actor. Yes, I did all the. I went deep.
I would too.
There's a voice actor and a guy, an actor inside that puppet body.
Wow.
Would you rather be the puppet body or the voice?
The voice. Come on, my big ass bitch ass in a warm ass bag.
Oh, see, I want to be the puppet body.
Oh, I ain't fucking doing that.
Not surprisingly, I've had to dress up or go in costume like multiple times for like
for a group project.
Yeah, or like at school, like I was the Easter, I was the Easter bunny at one point in time, which is probably what drove me to convert to Judaism by dressing up and having little professors' kids kick me and whatnot. But wow, no, I didn't know that about Alf. But people do sometimes say that, like, are you all friends? We say yes. And the reason we're friends is because I would not want Jamie to be my enemy because she will come. We had somebody who talked smack on my page, had a rude comment on my page. And then she went to Leigh's page unrelated. And I said, and because Leigh said it, and I said, oh my gosh, that's the same person that said something rude to me yesterday. And Jamie went straight to the comment and wrote the most savage comment, not with profanity, but just a savage comment, which was,
not you again, in all caps. As I also responded to her on your page, Ashley. So then I'm like, she needs to know that I'm also responding to her again. Like, don't fuck with my friends.
She accused me of using ChatGPT to write my video. And I was like, no, I actually used 20 years of
expertise,
enjoyment and corporate to do it. But appreciate that.
Crazy.
I'm responding to her, which I shouldn't. And then she went to say the same thing to Leigh. Like, this sounds like ChatGPT. Fuck off.
The same bitch, not you again.
No, she didn't say it was pretty benign. What did she say? I recommend using ChatGPT or something like that. It was something weird. But then I screenshot because like, oh, isn't this person that said something to you yesterday? And then Jamie just runs to the comments, not you again, in all caps. Oh my girl. Oh man.
But can you imagine? No. I mean, I can never imagine commenting negatively on someone's comment like that. But then if someone then came right after you and wrote, not you again.
I don't know. I've said some crazy shit.
She wrote, she had her tail between her legs in her response to that thing, Jamie. She's like, I'm not trying to be negative.
But you are. Okay.
Anyway.
Oh, lots of questions and lots of comments.
This is taking a turn.
I know. I guess we need an episode on group projects.
Yes.
Shit.
God.
Oh my God. Just a vent.
I can probably guarantee that all three of us were like the leader of the group projects too.
Yeah.
Like take the lead, like unofficially.
Mm-hmm. I'm a cat herder.
It was me usually doing the work too, because I was like, no, fuck you. I don't trust you to do it.
Hard stop, ladies.
Life sure doesn't come with a roadmap, but what if you had a guide? I'm Tamsin, and on The Tamsin Show, I'm here to help you navigate midlife, menopause, career shifts, and everything in between. Like a best friend or a big sister who's been there, with expert guests, real conversations, and actionable advice. This is your go-to podcast for living better, loving stronger, and taking charge of your well-being. Listen to The Tamsin Show wherever you get your podcasts, because it's time to own it.
Set up a 401k, buy a starter home, retire by 65. We've heard it all before. But is that traditional advice still valid? And what does it mean if it's not? Join me, Katie Gatti-Tassan, on the Money with Katie Show, the podcast where I unpack the biggest questions around millennial money, from the myth of the starter home to the impacts of self-care culture. See why we've been named one of the top personal finance podcasts by U.S. News. Listen to the Money with Katie Show wherever you get your podcasts.